Well, Jok Madut Jok is a security analyst and professor of anthropology, and he joins me on the line now from Juba. This this power struggle, if we go back to the beginning of it, because it's easy to get sucked into this cycle of violence and start to take this as normal life, and it obviously isn't. If we go back to the cause of it, the suggestion was this was something so simple as a turf war. Is it really that simple? What's the real reason behind this conflict?
It is not that simple at all. The main issue behind this conflict, of course, is a struggle for control of the state. But how is it that two allies, the Sudan Armed Forces and the Rapid Support Forces that had been together to do war, to make war around Sudan, how is it that they are the ones fighting each other? That is the question. And the answer to that, part of the answer anyway, is that they were being pressed by everybody to transition Sudan from this military rule to a potential civilian government down the road. And one of the key issues in doing so was to merge the two armies into one national army. But Hameti, the head of the RSF, was not happy with the terms of that merger. And knowing that they were not the primary army for the Sudan, they knew that merging them and subordinating them to SAF would mean an end to them and to their control of resources and all of that. So they started war to prevent the merger from happening. And the two generals just began to feel like this is a confrontation between the two of them, and each one of them wants to finish this on the battlefields and nothing about negotiations.
And Professor, I just want to pick up on that because it very much is the sense that I've been getting that this seems like it is very personal. I mean, the explanation you give that this was over the merger of two armed forces, it seems incredible that the two generals wouldn't at some point say the killing is enough, let's just sit down and negotiate on this, and yet they seem absolutely not even reluctant. They refuse to sit down and come to peace. Under protest, they've kind of allowed some temporary ceasefires, but it seems very personal.
It is indeed. You can gauge this from the language they use when they are threatening each other. Hameti says, I will capture al-Burhan and kill him like a dog. Al-Burhan says Hameti is only a thug, a criminal from West Africa. This is not a language of people who are interested in ever sitting down at a table and discuss the future of their country. But the result of their behavior is the destruction of the capital city and other towns and other states around the country, and the destruction of the lives of ordinary people all across the country. Today, as we speak, apart from the blow-up that are happening in Khartoum, places like Al Janeina or Al Obeid in North Kordofan and other parts of the country are all in flames and putting millions of people in jeopardy and in risk of dying from starvation, from thirst, from disease, because there is no health facilities are operating at the moment. And they are determined to finish this in the field and not to listen to any voice of reason about the possibility of seeking a peaceful settlement. Every ceasefire has been violated with even more brutal force, and calls from around the world are not being heeded. So it really does boil down to the two men deciding in the end that enough is enough, that power cannot be this sweet, that it must be got at the expense of millions of citizens.
If that is the case, that this entire conflict is born from two giant egos wielding massive power and being able to exploit it for their own gain, is the problem also the solution? Is the way to ending this conflict by targeting the two military leaders specifically in some way?
Absolutely. I think if there is any cloud that the international community has, it has to be focused on the two. The issue is that these people are very much vested in the war. The RSF is very agile on its feet, moving and able to do an urban war with complete competence, whereas the Sudan Armed Forces can only respond by bombing from the air, and by bombing from the air, they destroy their country, they kill more of their people. So definitely it's targeting the men at the top, that I think will at least bring some sense back to that country.
Really interesting to get your take on this. Appreciate your time. Jok Madut Jok, security analyst, professor of anthropology. Thank you.